All right, this week's guest tip of the week comes from Kelly Horn for her late/missing work Google form. So if you are getting the notifications from Google Classroom for students submitting late work, or if you're getting lots of emails about, hey, I just turned this in, can you grade it? When is it going to be graded? That kind of stuff. I love this organizational tool that Kelly came up with, which is just a way to let students know the process and procedure for turning in late work and how it will be graded. So she created this form and went ahead and outlined deadlines for missing work, as well as letting them know exactly how much credit they're going to get, to not email that they've completed it, because you're getting enough emails. We know that for sure. The day that she plans to actually do the grading. It's just a really great form. Love the idea. So I went ahead and created a template. So I'll include this link. You can click use template and it will make a copy for you yourself. You can edit all of this once you've made your own copy. And so you can change this if you have different deadlines. If your class or your department has different ideas about how much credit you get for late work, or if there's a specific grade reduction after those hard deadlines, or if it's just a no-go in general, you can change all that information. Decide on the day. Right? If you have 1 or 2 days that you plan on doing all of the late work, then you can go ahead and put that day in all 3 of these blanks to let students know that that's when you will be grading all of the late work. Then we're going to collect their first and last name, the class period, so it's easier to sort, the assignment name with a reminder that they should copy and paste the title from Skyward or Google Classroom, so they're not making up their own idea of what the assignment is called, because that can get really difficult to figure out exactly what they're trying to do, because they're not submitting the actual assignment here on this Google form. They're just letting you know that they've submitted it and would like it to be counted. The other thing that was just a really great idea from Kelly was to include the date that the assignment was originally due, for 2 reasons. It's nice just in case they've messed up this part to help identify exactly what assignment they're talking about, so it's easier for you to go track down in Google Classroom or Skyward, but also kind of a nice ownership responsibility piece for the students to acknowledge, hey, this is when it was originally due and I'm turning it in today. When you click use template, it's going to take you to a brand new form. Again, all you have to do is click in here and you have full editing rights to change anything there, or to add any questions. If you want to put in your specific class names, you can do that. Or if you have a specific idea that you'd like to include for the assignment or the date, then it's good to go. And you can click send, collect that link, copy, and maybe post it in your Google Classroom as a material that they're using regularly for submitting any kind of late or missing work. So then it's ready to use for students to use. For you click on responses and click on your spreadsheet to open up what you would actually be looking at as students turn it in. So if you're comfortable with spreadsheets from here, then you're good. I nerd out on spreadsheets, so I'm going to take a couple minutes and show you exactly how I would organize this to make it a little more useful and friendly, so that if this is something you're looking at regularly, depending on what kind of classes you're teaching or what your late work policy is, this might become a regular thing for you. So go ahead and stop this if you are done, or if you're interested in spreadsheet formatting and whatnot, then stick around with me because I get really nerdy about this stuff. So the first thing I typically do is click in this top left box, because that selects everything, and I go to the paint can and I choose alternating colors. I just really think this helps stay organized so that I can easily view the different options that are here. I always go ahead and wrap the information. I hate when the cells are going into another cell, when the text is going into another cell. That's annoying to me, and I really hate when things are off center that way as well. All right, I can click on the row to select just that top part for this header. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to make it bigger so that it's easier to see, and I'm going to center it. And then this is a big key for me. I typically will do the view freeze, and one row, so that my header row here, as I get more and more work, I can scroll, but that top row is going to stay frozen so that I'm not trying to remember what I'm looking at. It just stays with it so that everything stays nice and organized, easy to read. The next thing that I would do is decide on how I'm going to organize this. Just having the information isn't enough for me. I would like to know when I've graded it, for example. So I might say graded and maybe date entered into Skyward so that I have the information there. Really nice, really easy. So I'm going to click on H to select the entire column. If I hold Control, then I can select that H1 cell to unselect it. And I'm going to go to Data. Actually, I'll to two options, right? I might go Insert and do a checkbox. So if you want to do a checkbox, then that's kind of nice just to check it off. But one thing that I really like to do is create the drop-down menu. So I do Data Validation, and you can do a list of items. And I'll say completed, or maybe needs more work, right? Or maybe need to contact student, right? There might be a couple of different options that you might be looking at. But now this just becomes, hey, I can say it's completed. Maybe I want to do the date entered into Skyward if I want that in a specific format. Same thing, I can select the entire column I, hold Control, select that first cell so that it doesn't get applied there. And I'm going to go to Format, Number, and I can choose the date that I want. So if I just want it to be in the format of just the date, then as I enter information in here, like if I were to put in today's date, then it will automatically save as that option. If I want to get real nerdy with this, I'm going to go ahead and make this column a little bit smaller because I know for mine that this is going to be just a number.
Ryan Jenkins, your next map tester is here.
All right, thank you.
And I would like all the information to be on one screen if possible, even on my Chromebook. And then the next thing I'm going to do is select the entire sheet again, go to Format, and do conditional formatting. So we're getting real nerdy here. So we're applying to the entire range, right? So A1 through M101 because that's how far it actually goes. So again, the letters are talking about the columns, the numbers are talking about the rows, and we are going to do a custom formula. So I'm going to say equals $, and we're going with H, all right, because that's this section right here. So this is saying if any row or anything in column H says completed, right, because that was one of the data validation options I gave, then I want it to go dark so that it's out of the way. And I might do another one and say same range, custom. So again, the equal sign means basically saying we're if, and then the $sign is saying I want that this formatting to apply to the entire row. If the row with H, and then we're starting with 1, so it says I want to start reading from H1 down, equals, okay, what did I call this? Needs to contact student. Needs to contact student. Then I want to change that to maybe more of like a red, so I know it needs to follow up. I can exit out of this. Then as I get submissions, I can enter the dates entered into Skyward. I can also go ahead and click completed, and it will automatically gray out that cell to help me make sure I know exactly how many students I still need to work with and not have to worry about all that. Let's say that I've done this a lot and I have a lot of students submitting late work and I don't want to have to scroll every single time that I'm checking it. If I want these rows to go away, I can select the 2 and that selects the entire row. Hold the shift button and click on the row basically all the rows that I want to hide. I don't want to get rid of them because I want to have that data still, but you can 2-finger click or right click on a desktop and choose hide rows, and that'll just it just sucks it up right here so that you can keep all the relevant information here at the top and make it easier to get to. If I want that information back, I just click on those arrows and it comes back. The final thing that I usually do in my spreadsheets is I like to go ahead and put borders on them. So just by clicking that border, and then here, I think that's a little harsh, so I usually make it the dots, again, just to make it easier to see. If you don't like having the option to scroll here as well, you can click on the column, hold shift and click on the far column for any of the columns that you're not using, 2-finger click and delete, and then that keeps everything nice and tight right here. That is how I would do the spreadsheet and make it look beautiful.